What's up, YouTube? It's my second video this week. New topic, new day. The topic I wanted to talk about today is why is it so hard to meet new friends as a man? Multiple reasons could be the reason why it's typically hard to make friends, especially once you get out of that 23, 24, 25 age range. A lot of friendships as men are contingent on certain situations you're in. But I just wanted to start off with my first point, and this kind of relates back to me, is the new city and moving ordeal. I know for me personally, I got my friends back home, but moving to a completely new city makes it extremely hard to make new friends, especially if you don't already know people here. I know that, at least in my job, where I'm probably 75% of the week, there's not that many people I can relate with. I'm kind of younger. Well, I'm the youngest by far at my job in my department, so there's no people that I can relate to, ask how the NBA finals are going. You know, most of those guys are 35 plus, 3 kids, a wife, a house. Like, we're just in two different stages in life. And even if we were at the same stage, we're just kind of like culturally different. Like, obviously I'm a black man, and most people there are different ethnicities and stuff like that, which comes with different cultures. So what I might find interesting may not be interesting to them at all, or they might not even pay attention to it. So I can't go up and ask, man, you seen that Lil Baby concert or whatever on Twitter, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. So that can be a huge reason, especially for like the age gap and race gap, if you want to call it that. Cultural gap could be a huge reason why it's hard to make friends. I know another one would be, if you do find people your age, 9 times out of 10 people are pretty much clicked up and have their groups. Like, for example, me back home, I've been having the same friend since I was, first, second grade, young as hell. We only added one person to the group in all those years in like our 10th grade year in high school. And after that, it's pretty much been the same people since we were small. So I understand if you come into a whole new city and you know no one, that people will like be more likely not to talk to you or not to hang out with you or not make the effort, because you already have, your friend groups and stuff. And I just gotta put myself in those people's situation. If someone was moving to Louisiana and didn't know anybody, and I have my friends, I would be more likely like not to talk to them, not to, check on them and stuff like that, because I already have my group. I don't really care. I got my fix for friendship already, so I'm not actively searching. So just playing devil's advocate on my own point, I definitely understand why it can be hard in that aspect, to be honest. And I know once we start getting up in age, some people will call me Unc. I mean, I'm 25, but I don't think that's Unc status yet. But I know, as far as me and my friends, I graduated college like 2 years ago. I got a full-time job, a career. My friends are finding their way and hopping into their careers and finishing up school around the same time, or trying to figure out what they want to do with life. So we're a lot more busier than what we used to be when I was in college, and we were like on the younger side of the 20s. I guess we mid 20s now. We were on the younger side of the 20s. We had less responsibilities, no bills, and if you did have a bill, it wasn't really nothing too crazy. And I know that kind of like cuts into friendship time, if you want to call it that, because you know everybody has their own little financial bill situation going on. So I can definitely understand why you might have to put in 80 hours this week to catch up on bills, or I don't know, just I guess focus on bigger priorities, to be honest. So that's not really an issue in my book, but that can cause, you know, people not seeing each other as much because they have bigger fish to fry. And I guess a similar point to that would be, you know, people's priorities changes and stuff like that, and people start creating families. I'm to the point where my friends have families now, kids and stuff now. So I can't be like, hit them up at 11 p.m. I mean, I can't do it anyway because I don't live there anymore. But if I did live there, I can't be like, man, 11 p.m., man, let's go to blah, blah, blah. Let's go blah, blah, blah. I can't. I got the kid with me. The kid's sleeping. I don't want to wake up the baby. You know, stuff like that. It's not what it used to be because, I mean, as men, you have responsibilities. You have to take care of those responsibilities, and that's the right thing to do. So I don't blame them or anybody that does that. My whole purpose of the video is why, as we get older, it's harder to meet friends or to link up with your current friends because, man, we all got responsibilities, you know. And not to mention, if you're in that grind mode of life, I really think this is like the grind mode of life, to be honest, because, you know, early 20s, you know, you're probably going to like a technical school, or you either go to college, or you're basically like in that learning phase. You don't have that much money typically, and you're just trying to figure life out. Once you got the years under your belt and you're pretty much at the back end of whatever you're working to, I feel like there's like a grind mode that men go through when they're trying to focus on their career. And it don't just got to be a career 9 to 5. That can be like a business too, because just relating it back to my good friend Greg, truck driver, just got his full-time job with it maybe a couple months ago, and he's working, you know, Monday through Saturday, one day off, you know, pulling 50, 60 hours a week. And I kind of related that back to when I first started working in my field. I was doing 55, 60 hours a week, but that's the grind you do early in your career so you can learn and progress as you get older and gain more knowledge about whatever industry you're in, to be honest. So I understand that this is like the grind age for us. So you're definitely going to have less time to do, you know, hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And you also have less time to meet new people and meet new friends. I feel like I'm turning this into why I don't link with my friends, but the whole like point of this video is why is it hard to find friends as a man. So every point I'm saying just related back to why it may be hard to meet new friends as you get older as a man, especially if you move away. And I want to talk about I guess it's more of like a emotional aspect. Everything I talked about so far was more like, you know, some stuff that's like physically happening to you or something you're physically going through. But I just want to talk about I guess more mentally and emotional side of it. I know, for example, a lot of people, you really have to be vulnerable to meet new people, especially as men. And you know, society kind of frowns upon men being vulnerable and stuff like that. So just for example, I mean, I was looking for new friends. I was moving to a new city and had trouble finding people to relate to and stuff like that. And we got this guy at work, same age, played college football like me, you know, somebody I can see myself in and relate to. So I got his number and stuff like that. Pause. started linking, you know, went to like a couple places together. Now I just let them know that, like, you know, it's kind of hard to find people. And I had to get out of my comfort zone, because, you know, I was never the person to make plans or ask people to do anything or like anything. I was just always the one that went with the flow. So I told them, I was like, yeah, this kind of like, I ain't out of my comfort zone, but, you know, like, trying to meet new people down here, get like connections and stuff. I ain't never really had to make plans and stuff like that, and go out my way to link with people and stuff like that. And you have to be vulnerable in that situations to even like try to meet new people. So that may be a reason why a lot of people just refuse to, you know, do things like that and step out that comfort zone, because I was definitely out of my comfort zone doing that. But it definitely, I'm not gonna say I learned from it, but you definitely have to step out your own little cubby and do things differently if you want different results, to be honest. Because if I just went down the same track that I was, I'd still be like, man, I don't know nobody down here. The only person I know down here is my old lady or my coworkers that I don't hang out with. So you definitely gotta, you know, step out your comfort zone if you want to meet new people, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So that may be a reason why you can't find new friends, or it's hard to make new friends. My next point would be that a lot of people, well, men especially, make friends over activities. Like, you played a sport together, you went to school together, you go to work together. We kind of bond over an activity, or we both like the Seahawks or something like that. That's pretty much how all my childhood friends are. We all played football together, we all went to the same school, we were in the same class, so we just stuck together this whole time. So if you don't do an activity, you won't make friends, and you won't find new people to make friends, which is kind of sad, because I feel like men don't bond over talking. We bond over activities or like a structure. So if you don't have a structure in place, you won't have a friend. Like, even for my sake, I consider my friend. I met my friend at work. He doesn't work with me like in the same department, but we have the same like employer. And I guess that comes from structure, that we have the same job, we do the same thing or did the same thing on a daily basis, so we have something to bond about or talk about. And we also play college football, so like we have that, you know, athlete mentality that we can relate to, that a lot of people don't understand. So you definitely need a structure if you're looking for a friend. This video is going to be an all-encompass of how to find a friend as a man, why it's hard to find a friend as a man, and why friends don't link up as much, or men don't link up as much as we get older. And I want to take it to my last point of how a lot of people, especially men, are silently suffering. I know I fall into that category sometimes, not the suffering part, but as far as something might be going on in your life and you don't talk about it, and you just carry on through life with a smile and don't ever talk about it, which is bad, but it's kind of like how we were raised societally, how we were raised to be almost. I know people can be drowning in a financial situation, may have lost a loved one, may just be dealing with depression or something like that, but you see him, he got a smile, and it's almost like nothing's wrong with him, and that can cause people to not even be interested in, you know, friendships, because they have this like mountain hole, or whatever you want to call it, like this big old burden on their back that they're dealing with silently, and they just have no interest in doing any kind of friendship activities at that point in time. So I know a lot of men go through that, so that might be a reason as well. But it can be a lot of different things. I can make this video an hour long and with different points on why it's hard to make friends as a man and stuff like that. It just has to be right, man, you know, and you can't force nothing with people. You just gotta let it be, and gotta put something in your lap for sure. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. This will be my second upload of the week. I got a TikTok video that did pretty good, way better than the last video, so I appreciate y'all guys liking and commenting and stuff like that. And I'll upload this tonight. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and then I'll post another one Friday.